Greetings, everyone. My name is Stephen Neely. I am your co-host for the virtual Dalcroze meetup. This is meetup number 59, which is crazy. We're pretty excited about it. I am here with a whole nice crowd of good friends from near and very far, about as far away as you can get. The 12 hours time difference, and with my dear friend and colleague Veronica Bolesky, our co-host and co-founding virtual Dalcrozian. We have, well, it's just great to see everybody. Welcome back. It's been a summer. Oh my gosh, it has been a very big summer. And we saw lots of good friends in Switzerland, in Geneva. We saw lots of good friends. We hosted many people at Carnegie Mellon for the for the ICDS, the International Conference of Dalcroze Studies. And man, we had a good time in all of these places. I am thrilled to be in the autumn, out of the summer, and back to my routines. This is so good. It was so crazy this summer that going back to school feels like the best vacation ever. So I hope that your returning to school is feeling restful and happy. For me, it's been very comforting. I think there have been a bunch of things I was kind of stressing about all summer. And as soon as I got back in the classroom and I was with my students and I met my new students and we just got into our new routines, I was like, okay, this is why I'm here. I just need to stop worrying about all the other things in my life and just focus on the good teaching. And it was so rewarding. I'm in my second week. So I hope your semester or wherever you're at in your school calendar, I hope things are rewarding and just feeling good. Veronica, I think, wait, I'm going to quickly look. Veronica has placed the agenda in the
We're going to do breakout rooms.
breakout rooms first. All right. So I think everybody, or I don't know, I think everybody here has been here before, but just in case anybody's watching on the Zoom or watching the recording, our routine has been to do a quick breakout room. So I'm going to quickly put everybody into how many? Not one. Whoa. Not that. 2, 3. Let's go to 3 breakout rooms. So we're going to go to 3 breakout rooms. There'll be 3 or 4 of you at once. And you are to introduce yourself, say where you're located, and who do you teach. So if you can share a little bit with your people, whoever's in the room, I will pull you out of the room in 2.5 minutes. It's not really enough time. It's not enough time. So say hi to everybody and I'll call you right back. Ready, set. Hey everyone, welcome back. We picked up another friend while you were in your breakout rooms or two, and we are here. Well, we have a couple announcements before we get into the main events of the evening. Veronica, do you want to make one of these and I'll make the
Sure. So we have a new season of master classes for September, October, November. So the next one is with Aaron Butler. And just today, he sent us his description. It's going to be about 3/4 versus 6/8, and there's a lovely folk song. And I was particularly interested in this part where he said we're going to focus on how we prompt the shift and how we physically signal it to each other. Um, because I think as chamber musicians and as teachers, when we have to communicate something to our students, like just how we can do it without all this talking, right? And how to physically show that, I think is going to be a really interesting topic. So you can sign up for that. It's coming up in two or 3 weeks. And then Yiru McAllister is here tonight as a presenter, and we're so happy to get to know her and just hear a little bit about her other work. And I don't know, Yiru, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you think your masterclass might be about, or should we save that for later?
I don't mind. Maybe I can finish. Like I would introduce my project, and maybe in the end I can talk a little bit
Perfect.
faster. Yeah.
That's
Sounds
beautiful.
great.
We're so excited to have Iru with us tonight and to have lined her up for one of the master classes this season. I don't think a lot of the VDM crowd has met her. We had the great chance to hang out a little bit in Geneva this summer, and it was a real joy. We're super excited for that. And then for those of you who haven't met Aaron Butler is a licentiate in New York City. He's a long friend of American Dalcroze, and he's just a really super nice, really wonderful man, and so we're excited to feature him in the first masterclass of this season. So if you haven't registered for both of these masterclasses, we would love to see you there. We hope that you can do that and make your way. We are feeling really good about the masterclasses and the whole plan for this season, which includes a short course with Anthony Molinaro. Anthony, for those of you who haven't met Anthony, I mean, he's around in a bunch of ways. He's a Pittsburgh guy, and he teaches children's eurythmics both at Carnegie Mellon and in his public school district. He is a dynamic teacher, one of our very favorite people to feature as a demo class or example class clinician. He's a nicest man, and he's going to do a 6-class short course for us starting tomorrow. Do I have that right? It's tomorrow. So starting tomorrow, everything will be recorded. If you can, you should register and catch it live. And if you know you can't catch it live, you should still register, and then you get access to all the recordings. And I'm sure, knowing Anthony, he's probably going to have extra materials that he'll be sending out one way or another. Veronica.
And I want to say thank you to Quanting, who is helping us get better at providing certificates of completion for all of you public school educators who submit paperwork. So if anyone here or anyone listening on the recording needs the paperwork, like I went to this thing, it was this many contact hours, Marlene, yes, we'll get you connected there. So we can do that for any masterclass, any short course, and just let us know. And I also just want to say thank you, because all of these questions help us get better. We have limited bandwidth, but we do work on the projects that you guys need. So anytime you speak up about something that would be helpful in this community, it really helps. So please keep doing that.
So we have been advertising all of these, a lot of Anthony's class because it's coming up first, but you'll be hearing more reminders from us about Iru and about Aaron Butler's class. So please come and spread the word and see if you can get others to join us.
Okay, I think we're going to move on to discussions. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to hear from Iru and from Marlene tonight. And so I'll ask each of you to speak for 5 minutes just to give us kind of like your initial thoughts on your topic, introduce it, and then we'll leave plenty of time for discussion afterwards. So we'll do the 2 presentations back to back, and we're going to start with Iru, please.
Okay, because I'm a little bit nervous to speak it without the like it's not my mother tongue, but I will try. So I make a PowerPoint. So I think maybe that would be easier for you to understand what I'm talking about here.
Sounds great.
Just 2 seconds. How can I share? Can I share my screen?
You should be able to.
Okay, here. Can you see my PowerPoint? Oh, sorry, no.
There we go.
Can you see my PowerPoint?
We were seeing it, and now you've switched to the agenda. So we see the agenda of tonight's meeting.
This one.
There we go. Now we can see it.
Okay.
Perfect.
So sorry. I will start just to introduce myself briefly. So I start my Dalcroze journey at age of 5. And then so I start learning with Mindy Shea, who is the first licentiate in Taiwan. And then I went to conservatory for my major was in composition. And I went to Geneva from 2013 to 2019 to study master in Dalcroze. And then I continued to finish my diplôme supérieur in 2019. And I went back to Taiwan from 2019. Now I'm teaching from like kids like 2-3 years old until like seniors class. in different schools and also in different conservatory. And I organized my own like Dalcroze lesson for children and also for music teachers. And with other diploma candidate, we want to create a program in Taiwan in the nearly future. Yeah, so this project I work with is the music teachers in Taiwan. So their aim is not to become a like Dalcroze teacher. So they just want to have a different perspective to know about how they can approach music. So when I approached them, I asked myself, what's the key trait of the Dalcroze work? So then for me, it's the body, music and movement, nerve system, and creativities. And what is interesting about Taiwan is that in primary school, they combine arts lessons. So they have like art lesson, but it's have music, performing arts, and visual arts, all three together. So then I think Dalcroze is a great approach for them to, to do these three things. And then when they went to secondary school, then they were separate these three branches into like independent subjects. And then when they invite me to do the capacity building courses for teacher, they always ask me to do cross-field. So like music and maybe Chinese, music and Chinese calligraphy, or music and ocean, or music and different subjects. So this one I would like to share is one of the subject that a project I teach with them is the music and visual arts. So I will start with what they already know. Let's start with
Iru, if there's sound right now, we're not hearing it. Do you have your original sound for musicians on? I would start with that, and maybe that will fix it.
Maybe I can share the video. I just don't show the video now, so I think
Yeah, well, it looks great. So I don't know if you have that original sound for musicians option.
Or it could be that she needs to reshare with sound.
Yeah, I think I need to
optimized for
reshare.
video clip,
Yeah.
right?
But maybe I can continue. I think I don't know if I have enough time for. So maybe
if you want to take a minute, we definitely have a minute to maybe reset the.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're not in that much of a rush. We just
Okay.
so.
I try this. I just do the.
There we go. Much better. Much better. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about this because the music teacher in Taiwan, they're really like scared when they heard they need to move. So I always start with something they know already. So we just do some stretching. With the music, they also know very well. So the kind of the animal from Sanson. So this one is the swarm, so they can do all the things they're used to. And then we use also different animals, then we choose to try to do some different massage on their body and to wake up their body. And then afterwards, we so I asked them to do first alone and then do in groups. And then we try to imagine we do massage in the space. First, they can feel the sensation on themselves and then on their friends. And then we do in the space. So you can see this last movement. So you can see, so I just start with the thing they already know, and then I use my piano improvisation after, so they can start to know more of, like, to be more at like the thing we call active listening. So high and low, the contrast, all these different things. And then because we move in the space, right? And then I ask them to, I invite them to imagine you have a pencil or you have a color pencil in your hands, and then how you can draw it. And then we have this music painting, and with listing all the things we've been doing before, like high and low, big and small, fast and slow, all this kind of thing. And I start to introduce some different theme, like they can combine maybe all these different paintings. And then I introduce some of the simple composition ideas. So maybe they can create a longer like creation together. And then they will combine those things. As I say, I would like to introduce them like the key trait of dark forest when I introduce to music teachers. So body, music, movement, and then quiver action exercise and creation, like creativities. So then by the thing we just did, the massage in the body, in the space, and in the painting, and they create this small creation together with their friends. We can see another group. Okay, so, and you can see in Taiwan, all the teacher, when they hear they need to do improvisation with piano, they get so scared and they feel that's they don't want to join anymore. But I always try to tell them this, like, improvisation, you can also improvise with your body, with your voice. So then maybe they get easier and then they were not afraid and maybe we can go further. And then, so for example, I say the teacher or the school asked me to do crossfield. So just here, for example, they asked me to do the dark roots with ocean. So I used the material, plastic bag, to create also a dark roots lesson with movement, as I saw all this, as I said, all the like key trait before. And then that's the whole lesson I did with the kids. So we explore with the plastic bag. We try to imagine where I combine with the Sensong with the Aquarian music, and we create a whole lesson. But in the end, we can also use plastic bag to do a small creation. The idea here is to first use some material they can find easily. So because some of the school, maybe they don't have money to buy all the different instruments or something, but then just by plastic bag, you can do also music. Here, we're trying to imitate the sound of the ocean. And we also try to feel and to hear the different quality of the plastic bag, because when it's organic or those can be separate or just the normal one, they all have different texture and sound. And then so by combining this thing and then with the music and maybe coming back, we can talk with the kids more about this environmental sustainabilities, things about, okay, we're using a lot of plastic bag, we can do with plastic bag so many things, but do you think the animals do like the plastic bag? So we were combining this thing and maybe write a music lesson, but we can maybe invite the kids to think about those things we do all the time, but we're not conscious about, and maybe you can give them some new ideas. Okay, so Yeah, so just that in Taiwan, when I do all this cross-field or different trainings, I was asked to do all these different things. I can share you more, but here is my ideas. Like music movement is the thing I always want to share for them to not be scared, but try to know that your body is your first instrument and try to use different sensations. So like vision, hearing, all these things, I'm sure everyone is very like familiar with, and use materials like paper, balls, scarves, but also something that we can find in our lives and use different things. Like as I say, they asked me to do those things, so I did like emotion, music. Dark rose was emotions. Dark rose was English, because now in Taiwan they want to be a big bilingual country. So then we was asking to teach music not in Mandarin but also in English, and how can I use music as another language to help them. And then this is the workshop masterclass I will have in the future. Like it's the Dark rose lesson with Chinese calligraphy, because I feel that's a lot of similarity between Chinese like strokes, all these lines, how we wrote those lines with the music phrases, or like how it's precise. This spot need to be here, just like a score. So my diplôme supérieur's thesis was around this Chinese calligraphy ideas about how I can combine those things. It's something in the Asian culture, we write words. It's totally different system than in Western, but how those things could be like a new materials for teaching dark rose. So that's the upcoming masterclass, and then maybe in the future we can talk more about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have so many things we can talk about and bring up there, but we're going to move on to Marlene and then have our discussion.
That was wonderful presentation. Thank you. Well, the environment that I teach in, I am quite devoted to the families that live in poverty. I'll give you an example. Last week, for 2 hours, 1,000 families waited outdoors with their infants and toddlers, strollers, their entire families, grandparents, for 2 hours just to get into what we called an extravaganza, to get their school supplies for the year, backpacks, pencils, notebooks. And it was it's very heartwarming. And all the schools were there. We had our own tents, and we actually gave out food. And we're coaching the parents, had a lot of handouts for them. So it kind of sets the stage of children who literally have no materials at home. Basically, they have pretty rough lives, but I've never met a child that doesn't like to learn. And learn they do. What I find just astounding when I work with Dalcroze, I was ready for my license. I studied for many years, and I'm an artist. I grew up with my father's an artist, and I actually have a very, very good dance background. My father was an Olympic athlete, so I was very athletic, and so I had a very rich childhood. Not so much monetarily, but I was always doing things. I can relate to the students who come into my classroom, and in wonderful ways. But I wanted to show you what a child handed me at this extravaganza. It's actually Happy Birthday. And this is the products that I get are, I make my students musically literate. That's my goal. And to socialize them. Very important. So I think I could just put this to the camera. If you can see the penmanship, da, 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 dun, 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 yeah, da, dun, 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 dun. I mean, I was brought to tears. I mean, that's the product. I get incredible, very high level, very careful from the heart work from the students. But there's a tremendous gap when you're an artist walking into a classroom. You know how to teach music, especially if you're trained in Dalcroze. But the gap that exists between teaching your craft and preparing students to learn, that's really what the challenge for an artist when you walk into an environment like this. And then, of course, the challenge is explaining what we do, what teachers in our positions do. It's a 24/7 job. Why do I do why do I do what I do? And trying to for the administrators who I want a choir. I love children's voices. That's the only goal that my particular administrator has at the moment, which is not a bad one. But how do we get there? So literally, I am the music. I am, bringing kids into the classroom that have never been in a room with a piano, that have never seen a musician live. Maybe they've seen rappers, yes, but not someone who's actually playing music that they hear, that they recognize, and that they can relate to. So I'm really an installer and a prep teacher, and I take my sweet time installing all the basics. And the first instrument is my voice. And when I have kids in a hallway who've never been in a music class, I'm anticipating this on Thursday, I will, let's see, what do I do? If they're not paying attention, I will start using my voice. Touch your shoulders, touch your knees, raise your arms up, drop them, please. Tickle your belly, touch your toes, stand up straight, and touch your nose, 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 and stop. Then I'll go beep, 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 up. My turn, your turn. So from the beginning, I am beginning to give them all tools that you need in a classroom, and I'm modeling without talking too much. It's a music class, and I immediately start in with an activity, and not saying, now it's your first class of music. I just start engaging them. I will continue this particular, if I have the kids in my hand, I will do beep, 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 beep. I'll start being very animated, and they love this. It's catching their ears, and I'm able to practice my turn, your turn. So that's a suggestion for one of the tools that work to start gaining the children's attention. Manipulatives are very important because it's something that engages the children individually. So if I have, I'm a gatherer. I take things from my mentor, Dr. Bob. I take things from every particular place I've ever studied. Kinder music, I have early childhood music experience, college music. I gather, I take whatever works. Dr. Bob would would make our names very important. So instead of saying, oh, my name is Mrs. Maitland, I'm the music teacher, my name is Mrs. Maitland. What's my name? And I usually get a very good response, but then I expand it. What's my name? Mrs. Maitland. I start introducing the different registers. What's my name? Mrs. Maitland. And I'm making sure that my body movements and my voice are one. And I'm very good at, I find it very important to look at every student constantly. It seems to be, it works. So I have the kids in the hallway, and I have learned from experience. I have a very long line on the floor. This year it's orange, and I have a place to plant them, and I cannot let the kids let's go into the classroom. No. They'll just look at this large room and they'll run. what I'm getting at is that one of the things that kind of rub artists the wrong way is that do we have to control these kids? No, we want to make kids to develop self-control without becoming what a typical teacher would say, don't talk, stand still, I don't want to hear sound. I avoid that and do everything through music. To get them in a classroom, for example, I'll say, put the beat in your feet, put the beat in your feet, put the beat in your feet, and stop. Go, put your beat in your feet, or get ready. I start using all the commands that are very important for Dalcroze learning to be turning them into musicians. I kind of wanted to give everybody a homework assignment. If you have a class standing online, ready to take their seats or put them in a circle, how many different things can you use to engage them just standing still when there's no movement repertoire? Children have not been to dance. They're not exposed to what I guess middle class and upper middle class children are. They don't know what a team is. You cannot take anything for granted. I will have all kinds of large repertoire, and I had a lot of practice with Dr. Barb again when I studied with him. You need like 100 examples. You're standing on a line and you need to begin to build a group. Jump on the line, stand with one foot on the line, on the other foot. Bounce on the line, put both feet in front of the line, behind the line, just put your toes on the line. It's endless when you start giving yourself that type of an assignment. What else can they do? Only boys on the line, only girls on the line. Then don't move, freeze. So it's a constant engagement. You don't have the luxury to turn around and look for something. Your eyes must be on these children all the time, and it's worth it. It's worth learning how to do that because it works, and it's giving them a reason to come to my class, and it's giving them hopefully connecting joy and themselves to a subject that can nurture them. Establishing commands, my turn, your turn. Put the beat in your feet and stop. And incorporating all coming in for a landing, stopping gracefully, starts from the very, very first class. I can play. After I do basic commands, I start with directionality. Point to the person in front of you. Point to the person behind you. Or I'll make up point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the window, and point to the door. And I take my time with songs like this, just orienting them, or point to the students, point to the teacher, just basic things that you usually don't have to do with middle class people. I like to
Marlene, if it's okay just to jump in, if we could try to end in a minute and then we
Okay.
can have a discussion and hear much more
Okay.
of these ideas
the
too.
next thing I would do is directionality, and it would be with the bodies. And I would play. I would say hello finger, goodbye finger. I make lots of games, but I immediately connect directionality to the music. And it's similar to what you were doing with the graphic notation. It's a real progression, and everything I do is for a reason. It's if I have fingers in the air, eventually we'll go to paper and pencil, and everybody's pictures. We compare our pictures, but if we go, I'll go up and down, up and down. And I have to model for side to side, side to side, and I'll do different tempos. Or circle. I'm constantly stopping in a very deliberate way. And get ready. That's also highlighted. But everything I do is Dalcrozian, but it is broken down to the smallest possible steps and chunks that take lots of time. Even staccatos I start. And every class, every student is following. I'm usually modeling, but with pencils, we start with the oral connection. They hear their pencils. And we start with a beat. What else do we do? So that's the beginning of the fine motor and the fine motor experience. And so that would be I hope I get my point across that.
You do. It's so good, Marlene. Thank you. There's so many beginning class ideas in there. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Marlene has been doing this for quite a while. I'm sure we could fill up hours with
Yes.
early class ideas. But I think that gives us a lot of initial introductions to some of the ideas that are being presented. So we have two really cool teachers with all kinds of amazing ideas here, and have about just under 20 minutes left. And so what our normal routines are is to sort of invite a couple friends to share a little bit of their practice, tell us some of the things that they do, or share a bit of their research or the things that they're getting into, and then we have a little bit of time to try to talk about it. I want to point out that Erin Butler has joined us. So Erin, we introduced at the beginning. Erin will be doing our first masterclass coming up soon. So welcome, Erin. Iru and Marlene, thank you so much for these introductions and these little windows into your work. 5 minutes is nowhere near enough for somebody to explain everything that they do, but it is enough to get us curious. So does anybody in the room have any either comments or questions for either Marlene or Iru as we finish up our time tonight? Any thoughts? Oh yeah, go ahead, Quentin.
I think I'll just share my thoughts. I have a lot of questions, but I mean, I feel Marlene always, like, her ideas is very good for my class since I'm teaching K-5, and then a lot of class, it just like, you feel like kids are just beyond your control. But I mean, I got some good ideas, and I remind myself to try to do the point and then really teach the simple thing and assume they don't know anything, including lining up. It was, I learned it in a hard way. And also Iru's presentation, like, I totally feel that, because I mean, I remember last year before I know Dark I'm so afraid of moving too. It's like, yeah, I'm from Taiwan, I grew up that way, and it's just very, like, I can totally relate to what she said about like musician just being musician, we just play music, we don't do anything else. But I'm just so glad that to see someone that is trying to teach in Taiwan, trying to combine and connect. I guess that's the thing, like in my school now, they are also asking us, trying to, like, other than music, they want us to tackle like English and then all other subjects. So I think it's a great idea to combine. And by the way, like, people in Taiwan, I know, like my parents, they are still wearing masks. So I'm assuming that video is still quite recent, but then just people still wear masks now. So it's not from years ago. Yeah, I'm just happy there's another people from Taiwan here. Okay.
So good. Other thoughts or comments? I'll let you
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris, and then I'll go. And then Linda, sure.
Thank you, Marlene and Iru, for presenting. Iru, I had a question about the idea of the calligraphy. I find that when I introduce the Laban movements, my students are very excited to have a vocabulary to work with. It always opens up their movement. Whereas if I don't give them a textual vocabulary, they're a little more limited, or they're more likely to kind of get in a rut. they figure something out and they stay in that rut. The Laban vocabulary opens that up. But it struck me that the calligraphy is so much older. Is it just that Laban came up with some helpful words? Are there other sets of helpful words I can introduce so that it doesn't seem like Laban thought of this? He was not the first person to think of this. And I love the idea of the calligraphy, different strokes having different qualities. Exactly. Could you share anything about how vocabulary or textual discussion can help the students bring their movement alive?
I will just share one small thing. So, like, if you come to my masterclass, I will tell you like more. But like, this is a yong. It's like the 8 different strokes, and basically you can have all the different words. Can you hear me? Can I have okay.
Yes, we hear you just fine.
You can see that with these 8 strokes, you combine all different words. Okay, so what I will say is like, for example, this one is a small dot. And then other thing is like when you do the Chinese calligraphy, you don't just write it like that. You will have a respiration and you go and you finish your like your strokes. So then for me, all this different one, for example, this one, it doesn't end the same way as this one. So I asked them to, this is more like a visual ad, like, so you would need to observe first. Oh, I think this one, how can I make it thicker? So maybe I need to push more. And then here is thinner. So how can I do it? Oh, I need to maybe make it less. The energy should go less. So it's kind of, you have a really precise, oh, this one is also going down, but remember the direction is different than this one. So it's like, and this one's going up. So you start from heavy and you go light. So we can add voice, just like Melanie just say that you need to connect the voice and the movement. And then, so I will let the student just to try one by one. This is the horizontal one. So when I play music, how we play music, your sound will be kind of flat, right? Yeah, exactly. And you can see the end and the start, they're totally different. So it's, I think the Laban or something to find the words, but also this is more like a visual way. And you can then, I don't have it here, but you can like, with all the strokes, when you have like 3 combined together, that means big. Now this one, when combined together, means other words. So like, it's, for me, it's like you have combining like quarter note with a half note, and you can have a new meanings, a song or something. So then it's very, like for Taiwan, I'm sure Quentin knows, when you write a word, but just a small, yeah, exactly. I will bring the Chinese pen brush to the class, and to let them feel on the skin, to feel the press, and then coming up, and that's soft, but it's not just like doing that. It's also have this kind of breathing thing. So I don't know if I answer your question, Chris. Thank you.
So
I
good.
just wanted to say that I bought pencils that were touch sensitive, and when the class calms down, it really is, it can show a very thick line or a very fine line, that we do some of, not what you do, but some of the work that we differentiate with strength and energy in kindergarten. And these pencils cost a lot of money, but they're worth it. So it's a little thank you for your presentation. Wow.
Very good. Manuel, are you giving us a demonstration also?
I'm trying to, because I'm just listening to the to those remarks, and it made me think of what I do with the smaller ones when I try to talk about piano and forte. With this, we do it in on our hands, and we do it or we do it on each other, or we just go like this and just like passing the ribbons through so they can feel. And two, like I'm in Vietnam, so they are quite familiarized with calligraphy too. So the strokes to talk about calligraphy really helps, because they understand that power or less power that you need when you're doing it, and it's really great.
It's very good. I've been reading a certain philosophical text that's actually a comparative philosophy between Western and Eastern sort of mindsets on sort of how we think about, just just what is philosophy. And one of the early and pretty strong points that it's made is that, and a lot of times in Western contexts, we think that things just are. And so, like, what is the note, or what is the picture, or what is the what are you? Are you smart, or are you dumb, or are you a hard worker, or are you not a hard worker? Like, as though everything is sort of set. And in a lot of Eastern philosophy, both in Chinese, Japanese, Indian, and a lot of those sort of older texts, and a lot of the sort of philosophy that comes out of it, things are considered to be in process. And so we don't, it's like a completely different framing for kind of what matters, or what it is that we're after. So a lot of times, I think in the West, we are just trying to get the right answer. Whereas in certain other kinds of mindsets, we're always trying to progress, to make more. So this idea of gesture, as opposed to, so when I heard Yiru just describing the letter form, recognizing that it's not just a picture, but actually it's a gesture that that maybe someone who grows up, working those would have an understanding of. And I think a lot of, particularly now that what we call cursive in the Americas has actually fallen away. There's much less cursive writing and much more sort of block printing. I think, and like typing, it seems to me, would just remove it even another layer that we're losing. It's just another example of the Western mindset sort of making things sort of be static or stable in that way, rather than recognizing that there's some sort of experience to be had in the event. So that was just the bit that it was making me think of. That
Don had a question for you. Maybe you could type the books you're reading in the chat, Stephen.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah.
And Linda, why don't you go? Because my thoughts are kind of random. Maybe yours are more connected.
I don't know if mine are more connected. I have a couple of thoughts, but when you were showing that word that had just been kind of exploded out into the different gestures, it was really interesting and really enlightening. I've been wanting to work with image with the kids and moving in response to images for a while, and I just wondered, do you make like movement stories out of the words with the different strokes, either with a person or with a group, or can you assign them sounds? How does that work? I think that's fascinating.
And because like, just to come back to what Stephen says, like the words, how the words form, actually this, like, I think it's like so many different ways. The first one, already common and I use a lot, one kind of word is like this, in ancient Chinese, when they create the words, they actually see the shape. So I want to show you something. Can I just share my PowerPoint, this one? So you can see this one. This one, can you imagine? Can we all try to do this one, the first one? Can you try to imitate this word with your whole body? And can you guess what is the meaning of this one? How do you feel when you do this movement? Can you, and then maybe that it can give you an idea about how this word means, this picture, what this picture means. Can you guess?
Looks like a human.
It feels very strong, the way,
perfect,
like a strong movement and a strong foot.
The second word means person. And when you have this line in the middle, means big. As you just feel, you feel strong because you open your arms. So some of the words, they just, they mean because that's how they look. But of course, as I said, there's different ways of form of words. There could be the sound they make, so they create these words. There could be two combination with this sound and also the shape or something. There's many different word combination, but some of them are just really how it looks. Can you guess what this word means? The fourth one. I mean, you can maybe try to imitate with your arms, and you can imagine kids, like 4 of them, they can try to form this one, and it's a thing like that. Can you imagine what this word means? It's a word. Yes,
is it window? Is it window or a wall?
Very good, very close. So this one is mouse. This one means mouth.
Mouth.
And then, yeah, and then you can have all other, you know, like, and this one you have things in the middle, means middle. So you put a line in the middle. So this one means middle. So it's like, I feel like what I don't really do like with really often when I do this Chinese words, is more for the warm up, for them to, you know, expand their movement. Or maybe this one, the second one is a human. So you have your arms straight and your legs all opened. And then of course you can make a story, but usually I would just ask them to, you know, to try to, okay, can we make another words? Can you do another one? So that could be a good start point. And maybe you can walk as a big person, and then you will just walk like that with the music like really heavy and like an elephant or something. Yeah,
So good. We love it. I can't wait for this masterclass. This is going to be a lot of fun. Marlene, what's the age range of your students? What's the youngest, and how old do they get?
5 years, and they go to 9, K through 3.
K through 3. Very good.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just jump in with a couple thoughts that I had. So, Yiru, in your presentation, you had this topic of oceans and conservation, and then you know, in that context, plastic bags are bad. Like, we're just like, stop using plastic bags, right? They're breaking our planet and ruining ecosystems. And then it was so interesting to watch your students create art with plastic bags, where it just becomes an object that we explore without assigning this meaning to it. And I just thought it was very interesting, how it could be both. And like, that's kind of the beauty of art, is that it, you know, it can mean many different things. And how much more is a child going to remember a lesson about plastic bags if they've like really had a chance to touch it and hear it and imagine and create with it, instead of just being like, plastic bags are bad, let's like play a game where if you get tagged by the plastic bag, you're out and you have to sit for the rest of the game, right? Like, instead of just sticking with that meaning, we give them this possibility of like, what else could it be? And I think it helps students practice this idea that like, we can imagine the world differently. Like, that's it. Like, art can be very political and very like social justice oriented, because we practice imagining things in another way, and we can imagine the world differently than it is right now.
Yeah, I really want to share about the plastic bag. I'll ask them to bring the plastic from their house, and then just we start by listening to the sound as I stay there, and you will know, actually they will notice the sound is different, and then maybe we can go into plastic bag are bad, but actually there's different material they made it. And this one this one will disappear in 10 years. This one will never disappear. What's the sound different and why they're different? And then, as you say, I just think it's like, I always say to, when I do lessons in Taiwan, I want to share like my music's everywhere, and then art is everywhere. And then for me, it's not to give them what is right or wrong, but it's maybe just let them to be conscious about what is things is good and you think it's better to put it here, or how can we, you know, do it differently. Yeah, so it's just a consciousness and awareness about how this link we did, and then no matter with English, with like the environment or anything. That's what every time when I do the cross field, I know that's not the only, I don't want to give the only answer, you know. I want them to have their own opinions. Yeah, but thank you for your feedback.
So good. We have just 2 minutes left. Who's got another something that they'd like to ask or comment on? Yiru, the adults that you were showing videos of, are they they're teachers, they're music teachers, and you're just trying to give them ideas of things they might take into their classroom?
Yeah. So they only have my workshop, like only like 3 hours for 2 days, like 6 hours in 2 days. And then most of them they didn't know Dark before, and I have 2 days with them. So some people are really struggling, but then we just try my best to give them a different perspective of like approach music. Yeah, and as Quentin said, actually it was not long ago. Everyone is still wearing masks, but actually that was like 6 months ago, not too long ago. Yeah.
Very good. Anything else, folks?
I have a random question for Manuel since you pulled out that stick with the string. I just found those in my closet and I'm like, I should use these this year. So, how do you use them for Forte without kids whacking each other?
A lot of training.
Can you just give me your 30-second pro tips?
While Manuel is
Just-
grabbing, there you go. You all can do a
You just-
masterclass with Manuel. He's on our website.
You just have to begin. For example, you get them to do it with 2 fingers, or you get them to do it with 2 fingers, but like this, as if it were a chopstick sometimes. So when they move it around, then they can't do that because then they lose it. That's one thing. The other thing is that I tell them, well, when you start whipping them, they're going to get into a knot, and then you have to unknot them, and it's a hassle. And then just trying to be mindful of others, trying to be respectful of others, and that means just respecting your helicopter space, which is all this. But that's like the 30-second version of it.
Thank you. Enormously helpful.
Linda, you might get the last word tonight.
Okay, I've been trying to make ribbon sticks and I can't decide how to attach my ribbons. How did you attach yours?
I used a silicon stick because I couldn't find the ones, but you can just buy the rhythmic sticks and they work so much better, which I just ordered here, that they move around. But this is just a ribbon with some silicon, and that's it. Oh, and a little burned tip with a lighter. That's it.
So it doesn't fry. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hey everyone. It's meetup number 59. Look at you all. The VDM, we've been doing this now for 3 years. And every single time we meet, it's just enough time to get everybody thinking and get everybody kind of wound up a little bit. And now we could easily figure out how we would spend the next hour expanding on any of these ideas. I'd love to go back to any of Marlene's little bits there and be able to grab them and then think, oh yeah, what are 5 variations on any one of those? We're already super excited about Iru's masterclass, gotten a little taste of this. We got Aaron Butler in the window down here, who will be doing some 3, 4, 6, 8 stuff coming up. Aaron, you just want to say hi for 4 seconds here? There you are.
Sorry, my little keyboard shortcut failed me. But yes, hello everybody. It's nice to see you. It's nice. It's so exciting. I can't wait.
Great. Well, I can't wait too. It's so good to see everyone. Thank you for coming. It's 2 minutes past the hour and we try to start on time and end on time. So if you want more, you got to come back. Please register for Anthony's short course that starts tomorrow. And even if you can't attend it live, we record it all. The recordings will be available for, I think might be 45 days for a short course.
60
days. So you get 60 days for a short course once you sign up. So please sign up for Anthony's course. Please sign up for Aaron's and Iru's masterclasses that are coming. And we have more. So you've seen the advertisements. If you haven't signed up for the calendar or the mailing list, those are 2 really helpful things to keep you in the VDM know. And other than that, I say have a good night, everyone.
Have a great rest of your day.